Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of Diablo 2 on Hardcore. First off, thank you all so much for the warm welcome back, and for still being here. I truly appreciate it. And for those of you that didn't believe I would return, well, never count me out. Well, anyway, in this episode, it is high time to begin our Hell campaign. And in a sense, the game only starts now, as Hell is the final frontier in Diablo 2. It is here that the serious gameplay takes place, and where boys are made into men. So, one last time, let me take a moment to give a proper introduction to Hell difficulty and outline the relevant changes it brings about. Of course, the most fundamental one is that the danger level of monsters is substantially increased. They will have more health, deal way more damage, they have the most aggressive and decisive AI, and basically all enemies on Hell are immune to a type of damage. For us, of course, cold and fire immunes are the important ones. Unique monsters will have 3 powers now, and super uniques will have 2 random affixes added to their static ones. So super uniques with 3 starting powers, like Bone Ash here in Act 1, will end up having 5 affixes in total. The chill duration of our spells on our mercenaries' Holy Freeze aura is further reduced, as well as their slowing power, with chill effectiveness of monsters all across the board getting reduced, and the catalog of enemies with 0 chill effectiveness being expanded. Our static field will only reduce the enemy HP down to 50%, our resistances took a big hit, they are reduced by another 60 compared to Nightmare, as a Nightmare's penalty is -40 and the penalty on Hell is -100. Another notable thing to mention here is that the amplified damage curse we might sometimes get afflicted by will last even longer on Hell, and is going to be more commonly found, as uniques have 3 powers now, so a higher likelihood of cursed affix being somewhere in there. And it's going to be more dangerous in general, because the environment we're in is more perilous, with enemies inflicting more base damage. And finally, some dungeon areas are even larger on Hell. The best example in Act 1 is the Countess's Tower. Those levels are going to become quite huge. And now when it comes to 2 major changes to our own approach, the first one of them is of course Emilio here, being a full-time permanent companion of ours. He's going to be an integral part of our team, fulfilling a tanking and a distraction role. We can of course teleport him into position, which is going to be our general method, so that he can take the monster's attention, survive their attacks and keep them stationary, while we can remain at a safe distance and blast the opposition with our spells. It will finally be possible to reliably get full value out of our meteors, for example. We will be able to aim them better, and even the fire they leave on the ground is going to be able to deliver some damage to those enemies standing in it. Emilio also is going to provide us with 2 auras. First off, his Holy Freeze, being a defensive Nightmare mercenary, is going to help us with our survivability, especially against cold immunes that it will work against, and of course meditation from his Insight weapon to greatly boost our mana regeneration. We're also going to rely on Emilio's physical damage to deal with creatures that are immune to both cold and fire. And we're going to have to be careful with Emilio in 2 scenarios. First, whenever there's elemental damage flying around, since his resistances are far from optimal. And second, when he's up against monsters that he can't lifesteal off of, such as undead. We'll just have to keep a watchful eye on him, and then we can teleport him out to safety or feed him some potions to ensure his survival and limit his deaths to a minimum. And the second major change for us is going to involve our fire spells becoming more prominent. It's not going to be a full transition yet, this is going to happen after a respec here on Hell. Now we're still heavily invested into Frozen Orb, but we do already have maxed out Meteor, and our Fireball is getting up there, so our fire spells are already going to be used a whole lot here. Next, I wanted to show you our reworked situation on our belt. We're now only going to have 1 column of mana potions. There shouldn't be that much of a need for them with that meditation aura going on. We're going to have 2 columns of healing potions, and then of course full rejuves here on Hell. And these healing potions, and in those full rejuves as well, are as much for us as they are for Emilio. I'll be giving him potions on a regular basis to keep him alive. He's a part of the team now, so he deserves a potion now and then. Next up, I want to showcase the gear I decided to start out with. We're still rocking some of our old pieces like Lore, Spirit, Ancient's Pledge, and our rare ring, but we also have some new goodies like Skin of the Viper Magi, Mage Fists. I decided to go with that High Life belt, that rare ring. We got recently also Mahim Oak Curio for the amulet spot, and these triple resist boots, even though the fire resist there is pretty low. Now, there was some competition for a couple of slots, especially boots and probably even the amulet, but I decided to go with these pieces because we could heavily supplement some of our resistances like fire through charms, so we could actually afford to go with some other pieces like this 89 life belt with, you know, worse resistance. But speaking of charms, of course, you can see that I have equipped quite a few of them in our inventory. Some of them might be a little bit excessive, like this 30 poison resist here. I debated only using it for stuff like Andariel, but let's actually keep it in our inventory all the time for safety. With all of these charms and our gear, we actually have some pretty decent resistances. They are definitely up there, almost maxed out. So that is working in our favor. We also have this 5% FHR charm, which in combination with the 55 FHR coming from our spirit is going to give us the 60 FHR breakpoint. And in general, from our gear, we of course maintain the 63 FCR breakpoint. We have those decent resistances. We have +4 to all skills, and an additional one +1 to fire skills. We have 1100 life, so quite a bit. 1111 here. So we have all the tools we need to succeed. Basically, it's going to all come down to my grandpa reflexes and my rusty as heck skills when it comes to our success and disaster. We'll see how it all unfolds. And then also one disclaimer. It would be remiss of me not to address the existence of Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's been out for a while and already introduced a number of changes to various elements of the game. So of course a final reminder that this is of course the classic Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. So none of those changes you might have already gotten used to are going to be present here in our playthrough. And when it comes to a general note about Resurrected, I don't have much interest in it right now, but I'll keep an open mind about it and not be as much of a grumpy old man as I usually am. And maybe we can revisit the idea in the future to do a playthrough or something, but either way it's not going to be a concern for a long while, since after concluding this playthrough I have a lot of other plans for the channel. So anyway, having said all that, let us finally begin our journey once again on Hell difficulty and embark into the Bloodmoor and look for that den of evil. Now here of course we can showcase that almost all the monsters now are going to be immune to something. There are going to be some exceptions from that, like these quill rats, and I think in this act there's also a clan of goatmen that isn't immune to anything, but of course immunities to cold, fire and lightning are going to be super common. Then sometimes we're going to see immunities to poison, and on a rare basis sometimes immunity to physical damage is also a thing. I'm going to be collecting our full rejuves and some stuff like rings and charms, and of course if we want to pick up something bigger we still have our Horadric Cube, so space in our inventory isn't a big deal. I'm going to be collecting some of those rings for crafting purposes later on, and we'll see how this is going to go. In general, we're kind of entering a final phase of the playthrough with not that many explanations left to do, not that many mechanics left to explore. The only thing we really have to do is some imbuing and crafting, and we're going to delve into the details of that maybe in the next episode, we'll see. And in general, you know, after the lengthy explanations of the previous episode, here we can have a simpler one and we can just focus on the gameplay and shaking off that rust I've accumulated over time. Thankfully, Act 1 is still on the easier side. Act 1 and even Act 2 are a bit of an introduction to Hell. They're not that tough yet. Of course, we can die literally anywhere in the blink of an eye as a result of a quick, simple mistake somewhere. So we must remain cautious, ever cautious, but at least it's not the true danger zone yet. As is usual with most difficulty levels, the real jump in difficulty comes with Act 3. So we're still, you know, it's not that bad yet. Yeah, you can already observe that our mana regeneration here, I haven't had the need to use a single mana potion yet. Here's Corpse Fire. If I can highlight him somewhere. He was there for a second, but he's down already. Alright, we actually got ourselves a water walk, kind of a notable pair of boots. Let's also gather some stuff here and move on. Okay, our mercenary leveled up to our level now. getting those much needed resistances. Yeah, in a couple of levels he might get into the 50s when it comes to his resistances. His situation isn't going to be perfect, but his physical mitigation at least is supreme. And if he can lifesteal off of monsters, then he's going to be all good. And of course I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. Let's devote like this page 500 to just dump all the stuff we want to collect. And we can already pick up the quest reward from Akara and boost our fireball with it. Okay, we can get that quest completed. And now let's get back to action in the outdoors. I think this is going to be, the road is going to lead us to the next area. Alright, and here we have quite a few things to accomplish. Now I've used my first mana potion after teleporting a whole lot. Alright, Moshi Moshi, Mr. Bishiboshi. Alright, Emilio, you will have to finish him off, as he was cold enchanted, giving him that cold immunity, and we already have that super unique handled. But of course there's plenty of things to do here, and plenty of areas that we are going to reach through the cold plains. Now when it comes to the immunities that I mentioned, these rogues, like sometimes you kind of, you get a feel for the immunities of some monsters by just playing the game, and it just is ingrained in your mind. Like all the types of these fallen demons, for example, are going to be cold immune. As you can see, Emilio sometimes gets sidetracked and we have to position him where the action is. So sometimes, if I teleport in place like that, it's just to move Emilio where I want him to be. But anyway, some of these monsters are really easy to figure out, like these, all the types of these fallen demons, whether they are carvers or dark ones or fallen, are always going to be fire immune. But when it comes to these, oh, you can already see the example of that. When it comes to the rogues, over the course of this whole act, they come in all different varieties, and that includes their resistances. Sometimes they are immune to cold, sometimes they're immune to fire, and sometimes to lightning. So sometimes it's necessary to double check which type exactly particular huntress or lancer or spear wielder or whatever, what type of immunity she has. And of course, as you can see, they are nicely slowed down by our mercenaries' Holy Freeze aura, even though they are, well, those particular rogues back there were cold immune, and it doesn't matter, they are slowed just as well, because Holy Freeze is amazing in that regard. Now when it comes to the selection of skills I'm using, I'm going to be spamming Frozen Orbs a lot, just because we are quite invested in that skill. It's still pretty strong, even though it's going to be nothing compared to what it was like on Nightmare. But once we make our full transition, I'm going to be using way more meteors and fireballs, especially because Puke Feast here. Especially those fireballs that we can supplement our meteors in between when meteor is on cooldown are going to be, more potent than they are now. And with all the synergies too, I think I'm just going to get rid of that amplify damage, just to be on the safe side. Sometimes I can push it a little bit too much, perhaps. And of course, especially on recording like this, I want to avoid stupid mistakes like the plague. So let's take the 10 seconds to remove that and be on our way, I guess, to the burial grounds. We're going to do this segment first. Here, of course, we have Blood Raven. Let's just clear out these guys. But yeah, also when it comes to our selection of skills, sometimes the range is going to matter as well. Like if we are at this mid-range, we can safely spam Frozen Orb. But if there are some dangerous archers or someone we want to stay at a distance from, we can of course spam fire meteors and fireballs from a big distance. Alright, here we're going to be positioning Emilio so that we can catch up to Blood Raven, reduce her down to 50%, and now we just have to do it the good old-fashioned way. Seems like she has knockback on her bow. She spawns with a rare bow that apparently has knockback on it here. Whoa, Emilio, stand your ground, man. Alright, there we go. Of course, on Hell, we are also going to visit the Mausoleum, which is a level 85 area. We're going to do a pretty thorough exploration here. Oh man, this is what I hate about these areas, is just that they have plenty of narrow corridors. Teleporting in here isn't all that quick and effective. Oh, flawless topaz. I can take that as well. Yeah, and anyway, when it comes to the these areas, you know, even though the Mausoleum is a level 85 area, so the highest area that is very conducive to some farming sessions later on. It's notable because there are only lightning immunes here. So for some builds, it's really nice to visit here, but there are usually better options. And here you can see there are like narrow corridors with pillars and stuff blocking your spells. Sometimes it's easy to teleport into some kind of a nasty situation. And the density of monsters isn't that great either, so sometimes you're just teleporting around a lot, looking for something to kill. And for that reason, I'm not going to be farming the Mausoleum. I know we have amplified damage, but I should probably get rid of... And even though I know better, I still just can't resist. Also, Conviction Aura, whenever there's elemental damage flying around, is going to be really devastating for our mercenary, considering his low base resistances. Alright, another special group, I think that's going to be the last one we are going to visit here. And I think we're going to bid a farewell to the Mausoleum. I want to approach that group kind of carefully. Alright, amplified damage is already gone, see? We made it. We made it through a full duration. Okay, Emilio, my good man. You have gotten yourself into a really dangerous situation there, haven't you? It's because of the combo of a few... Oh man, let me just pick up that stuff. That was a combo of a couple of things. He was fighting a skeleton that he couldn't lifesteal off of. He had amplified damage, so the physical damage of that skeleton was pretty nasty, and he also was lightning enchanted. We can already get that quest, hand in that quest to Kashia. But yeah, also the lightning charged bolts were damaging him quite heavily, and instead of going through the waypoint, I just wanted to teleport back, and here we of course have to visit the crypt, because we have to kill Bonebreaker here, not to be confused with Bonesaw Breaker from Act 5. I think they started to run out of names. Right, here he is, but let's actually progress a little bit more methodically here. Sometimes I just want to hold right click to spam fireballs, but you know, if an enemy dies when they are under your cursor, if you move your mouse over a barrel or something, it's not going to work as easily. Sometimes I just aim kind of behind them, but at the same time I want to highlight the monsters. Here's Bonebreaker. He was cursed, but fortunately he didn't curse us. So that's fortunate. That annoyance is not going to come into play for a little while yet. Let's just see what we have here. Any cool elite items to pick up? Didn't seem like it. Might be missing some obvious stuff. I always, while editing videos, I always see something like, why didn't I pick that cool item on the ground? Well, it's because I'm blind, apparently. Alright, I think that this is going to be it for the crypt. And I guess we're going back the way we came in. Alright, in the Cold Plains there's still plenty of things to do. I think we have close by, nearby there's going to be the passage to the Stoner Field. These are the light immunes. We can use our Frozen Orb here. Here's the way, but we still have to find the cave. Alright, there it is. We have Cold Crow to kill here, of course. have to remind myself to be cautious. Ever cautious. Here's something, just some champs. But we have to position Emilio in kind of a nice place, keep our distance, so these archers focus target him, not us. Alright, Emilio, let's bring you back for a moment. I'm kind of feeding him healing potions in the meantime, but of course they need their time to work, to refill his health. Yeah, archers are going to have the potential of being pretty nasty. Sometimes I'm going to teleport pretty close to the enemies, don't worry about that. I do that teleport with the intention of stepping back. I just want to place Emilio close to the enemies. I want him to kind of distract or tank. And that's going to be our general method, so don't you worry about a thing. The worst that can happen is that we die and the run is over. What's the big deal, dude? Okay, we can actually get some potions here. We can keep picking up. Well, I guess we can take that Elder Staff for money, even though we don't have that much need for money anymore. But let's check out this situation. It was also pretty hectic. Holy Water Sprinkler making another appearance. Right, you know what? I think we need to dump some stuff. Alright, then we can keep going. I should have emptied my cube. But that's going to have to wait for our next visit. Alright, then I'm gonna waste my time on those like puny monsters. So let's just open up some space. I don't know where Cold Crow is going to be exactly, so let's have some space to actually teleport back to. If things get a little bit too nasty, especially if you lose Emilio, there's always going to be a bit of a moment where we need to make our evacuation. We need to make our escape. So it's good to have a safe spot to teleport back to. I'm also holding some keys now. Whenever we have some closed, like locked containers, they are going to be, they are going to have the potential of having some better stuff. I already had those keys in my inventory during the farming sessions I did for last preparations before hell. So that's one slot. This might be Cold Crow's group. See in a moment. Alright, there's Cold Crow. Actually highlighted her for a moment. Oh, right, Emilio. Move in bravely. That is what's required of you, my man. You can't just back down from a fight. You're stronger than that, Emilio. Oh man, I was thinking, do I have to be such a dork about all this? Well, you know how it is with me. That's an element that's difficult to skip while recording my videos, I guess. Anyway, now we can finally move on to the stony field and see what kind of situation we're going to have here. Any juicy groups here? We're meeting up with some numbers, but the monsters... Alright, here's something. Some juicy groups. Yeah, pretty juiced up here. Emilio needs a bit of a healthy boost. Alright, there's Rakanishu over there. Let's just clear some champs and a unique group here. And Emilio doing some cleanup. As you can see, our playstyle here, of course, is pretty different, with Emilio being our full-time party member, well-equipped, being able to do his thing. Yeah, it's cool. It's a different type of thing to enjoy now, different type of playstyle. Rakanishu, I guess, is already dead. I didn't even manage to highlight him. But of course you know that he is the carver hanging out in the presence of these magical stones. here. We can replenish our healing potions and press on. Alright, here we have the... well, here we have everything we needed from this area. Before we leave, maybe one more juicy group, if there's anyone hanging around. Alright, whatever. Let's just go into the underground passage. I don't like the existence of these monsters, archers and these misshapen ones. Fortunately, Kite Shield, not the Monarch. Oh, and that actually brings me to the another topic I would like to discuss. Let me just, you know what, Emilio, just be on the front lines here, soak up those hits like you are meant to. It's not my job, dude. Anyway, the topic I wanted to discuss is kind of my revised plan for the Monarch farming. Initially in this run I planned to do it after completing Act 1, but I think I'm going to change my plans. Don't sneak up on me here, vile huntress, while I'm trying to explain something. I'm going to change my plan and I think only do it after completing Act 2. Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need that Spirit Monarch, of course. We want to make the Spirit runeword on the Monarch. Oh man, alright, we have to empty up some stuff here before I'll be able to finish my thought. Alright, what's this? +2 to Hydra. Let me just dump these boots here. Anyway, I want to only farm for that Monarch after we complete Act 2, because that's going to be more efficient and it's going to be better for my sanity. Because farming for the Monarch is usually a pretty lengthy thing. Of course, everything depends on luck, but generally you have to prepare yourself for, you know, a lengthy farming session, or many sessions. And basically having access to ancient tunnels from Act 2 is going to be very nice for that purpose. And Emilio is getting kind of destroyed. I'm gonna give him this full rejuve so he can just stay in there and keep fighting the good fight, although he felt the need to retreat. I'll get distracted, Emilio. Keep your mind on the job. I'm gonna bring you closer over there. Alright, and for now a healing potion will have to do. Can't chuck that many rejuves. But anyway, for the lengthy farming process of trying to get that Monarch, it's going to be better to also have access to ancient tunnels in Act 2, so that we can add it to our farming route, which is going to consist farming the pit in Act 1 and then ancient tunnels in Act 2. Ancient tunnels is in general a pretty cozy, cool area to farm. It's a level 85 area, of course, and it only has it doesn't have any base cold immunes, so that's already nice, especially for like end game blizzard builds to farm that area. And we have to go to the top right here to reach the exit, so let's actually bust a move. But anyway, just to finish that topic, you know, it's going to be better to have those two areas for variety. Oh, we have the tree already, so watch out, Emilio, for tree bark poopy head or whatever his name is. Right, this is going to be juicy. Let's be ready to give some super rejuves to Emilio. Well, he seems to be doing well. Alright, Emilio, don't move. We want to keep those guys in those fires, man.
This ancient tree has an aura of magic about it.
Oh man, fanaticism, guys. Emilio, be careful. It's cool having this mercenary, you know, you can have a lot of conversations with him too. You can give him some verbal commands that he might react to. I know there's a Grand Charm down there, but kind of wanted to look out for that fanaticism aura guy. Maybe we've already killed him or her. Also, when it comes to, you know, farming for the Monarch in a level 85 area, you might be wondering, since the Monarch is only treasure class 72, so it can actually drop in a lot of areas on Hell, but it's just an efficient way of doing things, because in a level 85 area, of course, a lot of other cool, good stuff can drop along the way. It's better for experience, and in those dungeon areas you usually have quite a few special groups that are condensed in a relatively small area. So farming for the Monarch is usually done like that. Here we have a pretty nice slaughter of these fallen demons. Unfortunately, no special groups here. And we already see on our map the waypoint we need to flag. We also have the scroll, so we are going to rescue Cain in a moment. Experience Shrine. It's another downside of you know, the uniques having 3 powers, so a higher likelihood of them being cursed. And having a mercenary, you know, if they hit him and curse him, the range of that curse, or radius of that curse, is... I want to get into an easier kind of position to manage here. The radius of that curse usually is going to also affect you, unless your mercenary is like really far away from you. You might be able to avoid getting amplified damage placed on you, but since it's so much more common, and you have the mercenary that's going to be getting hit on a regular basis, and thus kind of, you know, transferring that curse onto you, so to speak, getting a good benefit out of shrines is also less common, because these shrines are going to be overwritten by those curses more often. At least on average. Maybe here we can at least kill some groups with that experience shrine. We're close to another level up, which is nice. Oh, this one is immune to fire. Excuse me for doing those fireballs there. Oh, this one is immune to cold. That's what I was talking about. Like these Act 1 rogues. They're kind of all over the place when it comes to their resistances. I wanted to kill another special group with this though, and there was a group somewhere in here. I just teleported too far away from it. Maybe we've killed it somewhere along the way. Not that important anyway. Alright, I think it's time to just get Cain back. We might get a couple of cool special groups in Tristram before this experience shrine expires. So let's actually do that. Is there something here? Okay, some minions. And of course the experience shrine is gone already, but anyway. Cain needs our help, and help he shall receive. In just a moment. Kind of want to show yet another thing with rescuing Cain here, so I'm not going to telekinetically free him from his cage yet. Lots of goodies, but let's kind of clear out the area first. Alright, here's our level up. I'm going to do in a moment. The opponents are really juiced up. They're meeting us with some resistance. Here, of course, we also have to dispose of Griswold. Another kite shield. Shame that Griswold is extra fast. I kind of wanted to keep Emilio away from him if possible, since he is a dangerous foe. We'll see how Emilio is going to hold on here. Not doing a bad job. I think Griswold might be more receptive to frozen orbs here. Yeah, especially if they explode right on top of him. Sometimes, you know, of course you have to feel things out, because enemies have different resistances, so even though they are not immune to either cold or fire, you know, of course they are going to be more receptive to one of those damage types. And especially now, since we're kind of heavily invested in Frozen Orb, it's still going to be the damage option when it comes to at least some monsters here and there. We're kind of going to do a full cleansing of Tristram. I guess I'm just happy to play this game again, man. And I just want to kill some guys, you know? Even though it might not be too efficient, I should already be teleporting into the Countess Tower, I guess, but let's actually enjoy this, you know, let's have some fun. Another kite shield, man. I'm just looking at this triangular shield shape and always harboring the hope that it might be. Could it be the Monarch? Help! Right, okay. Wait a moment longer. First we need to inspect our drops here. Seems like nothing worth picking up that much. Let's actually check out the stuff here. Alright, I just wanted to showcase now. Okay, we can actually replenish some healing potions here. Just remove the clutter. By the way, when it comes to... Oh, someone's distracting us. When it comes to the amount of things that can show up on screen while you hold your item highlight key, it's limited, so sometimes it's beneficial to even pick up, you know, small gold amounts to clear out the space and allow some of those items to show up. Anyway, I'm already going to drop our own TP and then free Kane and immediately move to town, and we can show that, you know, it actually takes Kane a little while to enter his own town portal and arrive here. I think I might have been too fast that it didn't trigger, because he usually shows up. Alright, now we can showcase it. We're still faster than him. Haha. That was pretty dorky, but I just can't help myself. Do we have something in our cube? Of course we do. Alright, this charm. Maybe some reroll we're going to do. And now Akara. On Hell, she's going to give us an item level 60 rare ring, so I'm really counting on you here. Oh, ye wench. Oh my god, this has to be the worst one yet. Like, on every difficulty, Akara. I am going to hold my tongue. But, Akara, I hope you realized I am extremely disappointed in you. And, okay, I saw some groups here. And having that panel open there reminded me that we still have that level up to do. Of course, as always, I'm just thinking about 10 different things ahead of us instead of being in the moment, in the present, and doing what needs to be done. And it wasn't even a special group, I think I'm seeing things already. We need to repair, apparently. Full diamond. I'll take it. Anyway, we need some more vitality and we need some more fireball. Now we can go into the Black Marsh. Alright, we can kill some dudes here, a special group of these goat men. Also, you know, when it comes to the choice of skill, Frozen Orb versus like meteors and fireballs, it also matters how like bunched up the enemies are. Of course, if they're a little bit more spread out like here, Frozen Orb is going to do the job, because its radius, you know, it of course can reach more opponents when they are spread out, and of course if they are nicely bunched up, then those meteors and fireballs are going to be much more effective then. Is there a gem shrine? No, portal shrine, unfortunately. Already going to be on the lookout for some gem shrines, of course, to get some perfect amethyst for our future crafting. Okay, cool. We have our, well, if I can click it, I have our waypoint for the area. That's nice. Alright, here we see the passage to the Tunnel Highland, but we still, of course, have a lot of things to do here. Another special group. If you want to get killed so quickly, you extra fast goatmen will be my guest. I will not pass that opportunity. Right, here we have the hole, but we don't have to visit it on hell. We have already penetrated that hole quite thoroughly on Nightmare, so to speak. So we can leave it be here. And we also have the Countess's tower. Oh, and a nice welcoming party here. We have the Blood Clan. That is apparently immune to fire. Right, no special groups though. Oh, please teleport me where I want to get teleported. Yeah, the layout of some of these levels will surely prove problematic. But we shall find our way. Oh, those mana burn guys. Oh, you mana burn rascals. I was like, you know, let's go back and finish some of those special groups, and I was immediately maybe not punished for that, but these monsters sure didn't like me going after them. There's another group here, I think. Yep. Just gonna throw some frozen orbs through the door. Alright, Emilio, you're going to have to deal with this guy. Here we can help him in such situations by spamming telekinesis. It knocks back enemies, and if they're, you know, knocked back, they don't attack Emilio. Let me just quickly check this. Any skillers? Unfortunately not. And here, I'm just going to drop this and pick up a full rejuve, so as to spare us the necessity of going into town. Although we will surely have to do it soon enough. That glow, of course, showed us that there was a special group. And it is no longer there. Oh, they're streaming in. They want to get killed. They want to get smacked by those frozen orbs, man. Another cold and fire immune guy. So we just have to dispose of his entourage and then leave things in the hands of Emilio. Although I am going to be careful about Emilio here. I'm not going to telekinesis him, not to make him exude more charge bolts, but Emilio, come on. Don't run away from him. Kill him, my dude. Right, not a special group for once. Alright, we're getting blessed. Oh, here we can see that he's immune to physical, because he had the stone skin affix. Here. Oh, actually, we don't have to go. We don't have to go to... Oh, and these ghosts are just baseline immune to physical, so it does happen from time to time. So even if you're a physical damage dealer, you usually want to have some kind of a backup elemental attack for situations like this, and I was too distracted. I actually used a full rejuve to bring Emilio back to full health, but I was of course too slow. Now let's actually repair while I remember about it. Right, and now we can dump some stuff. The unfortunate thing about your mercenary dying is that he's going to only activate his Holy Freeze aura after a bit of a delay. So it's not going to be active immediately as we go into hostile territory. It depends how quickly he decides to activate it. Pulse poison is no more. We of course had to take revenge for the death of Emilio. We will not take those lightly. Another... yes. Another special group. They're pretty juiced up in this Countess tower. I need to stop saying juiced up, man. heard it too much somewhere and now I'm just... You know how sometimes certain words or phrases can enter your usual vocabulary, your vernacular, if you just first start out saying them as a joke, but then you say it so much that before you know it, you just use that kind of thing on a regular basis. That's what happened with me and the word dude. I just started using it just as a joke among friends, and now I just can't stop saying dude. Like every other sentence I end with dude. Alright, let's actually use the door here, since there are going to be some cold immunes. Enemies I'm targeting just keep dying and keep breaking my spam of spells. Right, and now of course the Countess is always immune to fire and cold here. And we're just going to knock her back into the wall to allow Emilio to finish her off, and we get an IO and a Tau. Nothing too special at this point in the game. I guess I'm going to sell that sorcery orb. And here, yeah, I'm going to pick up some of these gold piles so that they might reveal some other stuff lying on the ground that we might want to pick up, but unfortunately no such luck. It's all trash. Alright, and now we have to proceed into a relatively dangerous level 85 area here, because we're going to make a stop in the pit, as it is hell, and as was said earlier, we are going to of course visit it on hell, and later on I'm going to farm it. As a level 85 area, it's going to present us with some difficulty because there are immunes of all kinds in there, including like rogue archers and skeletal mages, so they are going to be dangerous either for us or for Emilio or for both of us. So we'll see how that will go. If we can find it, I guess we can flag the waypoint first. Oh, and we got the same layout as all the other difficulties. Anyway, let us make our way back here and scour the land. Alright, there it is, the pit, and we're going to do both levels here. Alright, they are aggressive. They are fast, they are vicious. But we have Emilio to hold the line for us. An advantage of having a mercenary in those types of areas is that, for example, we can just place him on the stairs and like block the entry completely. It matters in some situations more than in others, of course, but that's something that you can use to your advantage. We need some mana. Here's Conviction. Fortunately, there's no other elemental sources of damage to take advantage of our ruined resistances. 3 sockets on that. I don't think we have 3 socket chest pieces. There's not much need for them, but I guess I'll take that Templar coat and just deposit it. We of course don't have the perfect things to work with. We just have to make do with what the game gives us. Right, not much going on here, just large numbers of inconsequential devilkin. They are more like meat shields, really. Whenever there are like cold immune monsters here in the pit, most of them are cold immune, and then we have the fire immune fallen demons, and sometimes when you spam fireballs they are just going to land on the fallen that are plentiful and sometimes block your shots. Just blocking the pathway for those fireballs to like more important monsters that we want to hit. Right, here we can place Emilio on the stairs and have a nice juicy barbecue. And I don't like these skeletons sneaking up on me. We've already been able to see some elite items dropping. Of course they will be much more plentiful here on Hell. that fleece there, and some other items that already dropped. We're going to start seeing much more often now. She's immune to both fire and cold. So Emilio, do your thing. Kind of... Alright. I wanted to push her into the wall. But anyway, moving on, we're going to do a decent exploration, I think, of this this pit, and of course we're on the lookout for level 2. Full rejuve, please and thank you. These rogues are, like, they have a really good baseline speed. Sometimes you might think it's a super fast special group, but that's just how fast they normally are. Here's the situation I was talking about, just these fallen blocking the way of our fireballs, so need to do a little bit of frozen orb cleanup in there. And these shamans now are kind of even more of a priority target, because they're going to keep resurrecting these fallen so that they can tank those fireballs blocking their way and whatnot. It's kind of over analyzing this pretty simple situation, but anyway, where's that level 2 man? Okay, here we have some special guys. Alright, there it is. Level 2 of the pit is always the same, so you can always use these stairs here to your advantage. There are some choke points that you can use. On the other hand, there's usually a pretty big monster infestation right near the entrance, so you might get greeted by some nasty guys. Oh yeah, plenty of stairs to create some choke points. Right, and while Emilio is fighting the good fight on the western flank, you know, clearing out these fallen with some frozen orbs is easy and safe enough. Here we have another special group. I think there was an amulet dropping over there. Yep. Okay, so teleport Emilio to these shamans so that he quickly disposes of them. I think it should be pretty safe now. Let's see what we got here. A jewel, an amulet, can pick up. Okay, this is gonna sell for something. Let's just drop this and pick up this amulet instead. Here we also have a chest. Not much here. Alright, let us dump some stuff here. Wow, item level 88. That's because the area level is 85 and it dropped from a unique monster that gives it a +3 boost. That's a really high item level amulet that we're probably not going to use, because when it comes to crafting, of course, we're going to delve into the details a little bit later, but also one thing to mention is that you can make yourself items that are too good. Especially in the context of this run. What I mean here is that you can make yourself items that are going to have such high character level required of you to equip that they're going to be kind of beyond the scope of this run. You know, you can make yourself an amazing amulet, but its required item level, I mean, its required character level of you to be able to equip it might be like 95. So normally when you're going like for level 99 on the ladder, it's not a problem. You're still going to get a lot of value out of it. But of course in our run, waiting, you know what, I think I'm not going to even touch these porcupine guys. They're just too tricky to approach in that kind of environment. But these guys are immune to fire. But yeah, making an amulet, even though it might be super amazing, making an amulet that's only equipable at level 95 would be kind of unfortunate for our run here. So we'll have to see. But anyway, of course we're going to delve into the details later. Oh, here's Mr. Smithy dude. Just shut up. Oh, there he goes. Radric Malice. And the imperfect position of this charm is bothering me. Special groups? Nope. Okay, here we have one. Emilio, don't stop getting distracted. Alright, here we go into the jail. We need to look for the waypoint here.
It's long gone now.
Alright, there it is. Very nice. It's our only objective here. Oh, a rare poison immune here. We've been able to witness. And a rare Death Clan no immunity. What are you doing here on Hell, you weakling? Not immune to anything? What are the other Hell monsters are going to say about you, dude? They're going to bully you for being so weak. Anyway. Jesus Christ. Anyway, on level 2, we need to, of course, find Pit Spawn Foul Dog. Before we look for the exit. Of course, we can stop on our way, kill some champies. Championies. Why not? Okay, here's another one. The dark one is now the dead one. Okay, no replenishments are necessary. Oh, I think I saw him. Yep, that's going to be the group. Yes, the sanctity of this dog has been fouled. Alright, I'm gonna keep Emilio out of there and we can just meteor to finish things up while he's kind of in that cage. No need to go closer to him. Alright, and there we go. Almost all the super uniques are now disposed of in this act. You know what? Let's just play it safe and get rid of that amplify damage. Alright, thank you, Akara. And I guess while we're at it, while remember about it, let's give the hammer back to Charcy. Alright, nice. We're going to use your imbue services soon. The time of that is coming up. You are finally going to be able to repay us for our troubles on all difficulties. We got some auras there. Alright, Emilio. We need to keep you safe, my dude. Kinda don't want to just fly through these areas, not killing anything, but yeah, we also have to weigh in the danger level of these monsters. Especially these archers, man. Alright, this is going to need some long distance meteor fighting and placing Emilio kind of in front of us. He is the barrier. Well, not when he is moving like that, but he needs to be the barrier between the enemies and us. Oh, and there's another conviction guy. How great. There we go. Just go in there and do your thing. Be the wall. Be the immovable object. Come on, be the immovable object. Don't move away from them. You need to be the immovable object, and the Sharon needs to be the unstoppable force, although she lacks quite a bit of plus skills for that, to be true. Quite a few levels, I guess. But anyway, we got through that. I probably shouldn't have done that pack, or those groups. It would have been much more reasonable to just leave them alone, as I will do with those archers. I don't feel like engaging them. Alright, and we're done with the jail. Moving on. Oh, this is going to be quite of a long episode, but of course we can afford ourselves to do some longer episodes now after that break. Let's get our Diablo 2 fix. Alright, these ghosts are always very receptive to meteors and fireballs because they bunch up on top of each other so nicely. Right, can you leave me alone? Well, there was no one there, and I was already like looking at the loot. Not even gonna pick up that Ice and Heart sword. I think here's Mr. 5 Powers. And there he goes. We of course have amplified damage on us once again. And you know what, before descending into the catacombs, I think it is going to be pretty wise to get rid of it and not invite any dangers. Alright, here's Tancred's Skull. I'm not even going to deposit it in our collection. We have quite a few of those, I'm sure, from the previous farming sessions. Alright, and into the catacombs we go. Counting on our teleports to work. And we already see all types of resistances here from our enemies. Anyway, no interesting monsters to battle there. Okay, we have the exit. Now here, we need to find the waypoint. So, exploration of a more thorough nature is going to be required. Pretty empty catacombs so far. Alright, there we go. Alright, and there we go. Getting closer. Alright, do we want to encounter that group? I think we owe ourselves to at least try and kill something in these catacombs. Even though it's dangerous, even though it's risky, that's the name of the game. Alright, Emilio, I think some full rejuves for you are going to be warranted. There we go, see, no problem. We even get one super rejuve back out of the deal. And onwards we go. Alright, that was... See, those are the juicy situations I was talking about. Jesus, full rejuves, that's on me, on Emilio. Full rejuve bonanza, we're going to run out of them in a moment. But of course this is an undead fiesta here, where he cannot life steal off of anything here. See, those are the situations where I should just move on and not engage those guys, but... I'm just too reckless for my own good. Oh! Well, maybe it was worth it, because we got a nice thresher out of the deal. That's pretty sweet. Going to deposit that immediately. need to pick up some full rejuves. And we're ready to go. Right, of course this thresher isn't perfect because we're either going to have to roll the sockets on it or use one of our Larzuk socket quest rewards. And the only one available we have right now is the one from normal, which of course we have to save for our monarch. But maybe the one from hell we can use, or maybe we can roll the sockets, and it's still going to be a decent chance. Because threshers only go up to 5 sockets. So if we roll 5, that's great, and if we roll 6, it's also going to go down to 5. Although of course the chances there aren't too great. Anyway, just kind of carefully approaching to get rid of these fallen that would block our shots, and now let's go on Dariel. Going to feed Emilio some rejuve potions so that he can keep her in place. Her resistance to fire is very low, and that's why she went down pretty quickly. Alright, and we got an essence from her. Let's just wait out this screen shake. These essences, there's 4 types of them, and if you gather all 4 of them, you can create a token of absolution to allow you another respec. And basically, this essence that she dropped, also Duriel in Act 2 drops, and then all the other Act bosses drop the other 3. We also got a level up that we can do, boost up our skills. This is a great victory indeed. And yeah, so of course for us this isn't really going to matter, because by the time we're finished with Act 5, well, that's the end of the run. Of course, if we make it that far, that's going to have to be a stipulation I need to make all the time, or you're going to have to assume that that's what we're... that's what's the case here. Anyway, before doing anything else, let's progress to Act 2 to get that Andariel bug that we might take advantage of. Maybe we'll farm something off of Hell Andariel, but yeah, of course this Twisted Essence of Suffering is the one. I don't have to even identify anything. So, wow, okay, we've successfully managed to conquer, get through Act 1. That's basically the plan minimum, was not to die in Act 1 and Act 2. That would feel really bad if I die in Act 3 onwards. Should be able to accept that. It's going to be a better feeling, I guess, if that happens. But yeah, this is going to be it for this episode. I'm looking forward to going through Act 2 soon. So thank you for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.